my trophy for
All
taking
right.
Roman's head.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody, to a special episode of Lost Legion. Hope you guys had a good holiday. We're doing this episode because we decided to document the new rules and our lists going into LVO. And yeah, how's it going, boys?
It's going early
Yeah,
morning.
All right. First, I want to get you guys' opinions of the rules. I know, Jose, you've been talking about the new cover rules, man. How are you liking the rules overall?
I hate them.
What do you hate
So
about
here's the yeah. So I mean I haven't had a big serving size like you guys have, but I was very skeptical about the rules. Even from the drops, I have my opinions. Not a lot of people agree with my opinions, but it is what it is. So for my game yesterday, the things I can conclude from the sample size that I have is I hate the climbing rules. I it's not because they're bad. I hate that they're simple. Like I was able to climb just to climb, get to an advantageous spot. I play Gar. The being able to get onto a building and be like, "Ha, heavy cover, eat this Z6 shot." It's dumb.
well,
It's dumb.
to be fair, everything gets into heavy cover really easily, right? The new cover rules. It's like if you're not getting cover, you're really out there out in the
doing
open.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see with the old rules, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I went from zero cover like because we played like this A wing in the middle of the map or kind of towards my side of the map when I played my game. No cover because we the A wing was light cover, but my silhouette was not covered by any of it at the bottom. Okay, cool. Let me just go straight up speed one. Now I have cover and I can see you. Like it's it may it's too simple for what it is. Had it been old rules, I would have actually had to pre-plan, think at how am I going to get up here? Is it worth getting up here? Do I go around? Do I do this? Like that's completely eliminated with these new climb rules. The cover, I hate it. I hate it. There's everybody has cover. You have cover. I have cover.
Mhm.
The nose in front of my face gives me cover. Like it's dumb. Uh,
Yeah.
I've played Gar, and there's been times when I'm like, oh, I'm out in the open. I gotta hope these red saves work. Yesterday my elbow was giving me cover and taking heavy cover all game, taking light cover all game with red saves with reliable, Anakin with dodges, like Pikes with dodges, like it was ridiculous. The It takes away an element of the game when you can't do angles. Like I used to be
Yeah.
a art like, all right, cool. So he shifted this way. Ah, do I go this? Okay, if I hit this way, I can hit this angle. They and I know some of it was we don't, all encompassing, like with wound allocations, rounding up, rounding down, blah blah blah. But it's just there's no tactical, in my opinion, no tactical advantage to gaining a good spot. There's everywhere is a good spot.
Right.
Everywhere is a good spot. Like
Yeah, I think
and
that's
I'm not.
my
Oh,
issue
good.
with it that the map used to be there were big dangerous spots and you'd have to figure out how am I going to deal with that? Am I going to play around it? Am I going to try to force my opponent to run through it? Or do I think I have enough of an edge where I can rush through it and overwhelm my opponent? That doesn't really happen anymore because you can usually, find something. And so those big open spots are now maybe one unit is screwed, but not my whole army. And that's only if it's really, really open in the middle. So yeah, I feel like it's taken away a lot of the maneuvering that you would have to do and the bigger planning of like where do I want to fight? Well, almost everywhere is the same now.
I kind
Mhm.
of disagree with you guys. I kind of like the new cover rules, only because
Because he
uh,
plays droids.
because it did what it served its purpose, right? It was made it easier for people to learn the game, right? Now you're essentially getting cover. And I think partially since we're all really good at the game, we've learned to build tables in a way that you have to be strategic in getting cover. Well, now that everything gets covered, I feel like you just need to scale down. I know in our game, Daniel, I made those long snow things light cover. So I feel like we need to go back on building tables and start putting in more light cover things. Because I know a lot of and
Yeah.
me personally, I had a lot of heavy stuff. Now I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna make some stuff light. So that way you have a tactical advantage of either in heavy or light. But yeah, it's
Yeah. The problem is then your second shot into light is heavy. So you get one shot
not
to
for droids.
make a difference.
For
That's true. That's
droids,
true.
it's crazy.
You the
So
new
there's
cover
one
rules.
faction that has to think about the map. Everybody else.
We're good.
So So what I noticed with the new cover rules is sharpshooter stock goes up, marksman stock goes up,
Mhm.
fire support stock goes up. You're either taking the cover away through keywords or you're just slamming it with everything you got. That's the way this game has to be played now. Or you just run up and touch the cover so you don't get anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it from our point of view, but like from a new player's point of view, it's kind of like it feels nice. Like you're not getting punished
Hmm.
because I don't know about you guys, but when I play new players, I tend to overdo it sometimes, and they're just like, I don't play this anymore. So I'm just like, well, you got covered now.
Well,
But yeah,
Yeah.
even new players are just liking it though. The post on the forum about that Sweden tournament. Everybody loved the game. It was
nah,
fun, but the main comment was nobody, including the new players, liked the cover rules.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is that they wanted to make cover simpler, and they did. So they succeeded in what they were trying to do. Um, it's just not my favorite way to play. So, I'm sure I'll get used to it, and maybe if we scale down on terrain a little bit, it'll get closer to where it used to be. But yeah, it's not my favorite change.
it's so hard to relearning a game that you've been practicing for so long, like, and
Yeah.
then relearning how to build tables. Like I have in our table game that we're gonna do on Wednesday, I have a bunch of terrain on the table, and I'm just like, I don't know. Everyone's
Heavy
getting
cover
covered. Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere, everywhere. It's just like,
Yep.
um,
Come dressed as Oprah.
right? What do you guys think about the new panic stuff?
Go for it, Dan. You go first. Probably have more games than me.
Yeah, I don't think it was as impactful as I was expecting it to be. Though a lot of my games have been against either Courage Infinite or Courage 3 people. I played against your mall. I played against I guess I played against Rebel Officer, but he died and then Luke became the commander. And then I played against
Upgrade.
and then I played against Vader. So I didn't find that the new panic rules really mattered that much. I ended up playing like the game was almost the exact same as what it was before. Um, Maybe it'll force people to build armies a little bit different. Um, but yeah, I didn't even see it affecting like my droids either. I don't think I ever had my guys have enough suppression where they weren't able to contribute to an objective.
Yes, I
But
agree with you. I was like, whoa, me when it first came out, but I think like in actual practice, it's not going to come up that often. And then when it comes up to actual like scoring thing, I think that person that wants to make your panic guy not contribute is like try harding, and he's try harding, so you can counter that. What do you think, Jose?
yeah,
For me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Daniel. My army is besides my Pike auxiliary units, my army is Courage 2 across the board, with Anakin being Courage 3. In my game that I played yesterday, I hated the panic rules. I was very vocal about that, but I was speaking from my old list was Anakin and Echo is the only high courage units with everything else being courage 1. So I was kind of like, this is stupid.
Mm.
So then I upgraded everything to phase 2s, and the only person that sadly that suffered from the suppression mechanic rules was Anakin, and I was able to stay out of panic through rolling one off here, one off there. It wasn't as big as I thought it was gonna be. Like I even left my pikes out to dry, But even with their capo, Courage 2 capo, people were like, "Oh, Courage 2 might not even be enough." Even with the Courage 2 capo, like hauling butt behind them, like they were relatively good. And then on the other side, my opponent Roman, he had Vader, but Vader was doing Vader things and leaving his storms out to kind of fend for themselves. Courage 1. Even I was hitting them, but it's kind of like the threat saturation portion of it because I had dewbacks breathing down my neck, so it didn't matter if Vader was by The storms are not. I couldn't focus to hit them. I had to hit the dudes and even the dewbacks. He had I had one dewback up to 6 suppression. It already had activated, so it's panicked, but it's not it's not panicking. And he didn't even have endurance on. So once the round ended, that one suppression came off, he just suppressed. So it's not as bad as I initially thought. I think it can get bad. I think if you make it a point to target the commanders, like Bounty might be good for this. Slam those Courage 2, Courage 3 commanders. Now that armies just drops into suppression danger. But other than that, I didn't get stuck anywhere. I didn't suffer it at all. So I got to say, I personally overreacted to it. But then again, it's a 1 game sample size, and my army's built to not deal with it.
Yeah, I feel like Courage 3 armies or above are going to be huge, and I think you're only going to see the panic really come into play with Courage 2 bubble armies.
Right. Those old armies that rely on Imperial officers, I think that's where you'll see some issues because they'll have the red save, so they'll survive, which means that they'll panic. So
Yeah.
we'll see if those lists make an appearance at LVO or if those have all kind of shifted.
Well, it did. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all.
It did have a weird change that did affect me though, and I want to see it at LVO. Slinging tokens with aid. I used to do it like I'm gonna take expression here. I'm gonna take expression here. My pike's gonna live to an eternity because I have all these dodges. The new suppression rules made me think of before I did an aid. Like there were times where I wanted to give the dodge to a pike to another pike unit, but because I was worried about getting panicked, I held it. So it keeps the aid in check. Aid wasn't a really big advantage for me going in that game. I'm interested to see how the people who take pikes, like there's still people that are gonna still take pike centric lists. Well, if you're getting hammered down, now you gotta. Do you need to take the suppression now? Because if you
Worth
do,
it.
there's a chance you're gonna
Yeah,
panic.
well, it's
It
worth
was
it
a
if you have
nerf
the
to
dark
aid.
saber.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's true.
If you don't, you have to think about it.
Yeah. And also, nerfs Dauntless and Capel. Like you really got to think about it. I really want to.
I know that's so terrible.
Yeah, it sucks. It's bad. But hopefully they get a buff. Any of the new rules you guys like?
Yes, you ready?
No,
You ready?
don't say it.
You ready? You ready? I absolutely 100% love, agree, and think this is how it should be. Force users deflect, no longer having surge to block in melee.
I'm not gonna lie.
It is perfect. It is perfect.
I'm not gonna lie. I was this close to rage quitting and just stopped playing Legion. I was so hurt by that. I was just like, come on.
Oh, it is perfect. It's deflect. It's deflect. You're deflecting blaster bolts. You're not deflecting fists. It's and it hedges the field because I was having this discussion with Roman. Now, when Maul used to dive, it didn't matter what linebacker you had because normally you're gonna shred that linebacker and you're gonna hide behind all your dodges. Now it's cool. You have an automatic clash interaction. Maul rushes and hits Gideon. Hey, dude, surge to block.
That's the thing that gets to me. It's thematically it makes sense, and on top of that, force users are better than Grievous and Gideon. It's like, how does that
Grievous has lightsaber trophies. What do you mean they're better than Grievous?
Is he better than Obi-Wan? Is he better than Maul? Is he better than
now?
Well, he's still not better than Obi-Wan, and he's still not better than Anakin.
Yeah,
no,
so
that's true. That's true. But
it evens the field. It gives them value. Like Callus stock went up, Grievous stock went up. Anybody that has block, their linebacker role just got way more.
I don't like it. I think the original creators wanted.
I think my favorite.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I think the original creators wanted deflect to be block and deflect, but whatever.
Masters should be better.
No, my favorite part of that change is just that it makes Jedi have different level of defense because basically all of them have had surge to block because they always take dodges. Unless they mess something up, they're going to have a dodge, so they have surge to block. So I love this element of like, oh, no, there's different tiers of Jedi now. The Republic ones are top tier. You've got your Rebel and Mauls at the bottom. And then you've got some Imperial stuff in the middle. Right at the bottom, right down there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right where you should be.
Good. All these rules hurt Maul, and I love it.
Well, I mean, they
It's about
indirectly
time.
hurt Vader and Dooku the most, and Luke. Maul
Oh
still
yeah, Dooku.
can take into the fray and just be just fine. Um,
It's true.
but yeah, it does hurt a lot. It hurts me the most. My strategy just went down south a little bit, but I just got to get that practice in. Which I don't feel like I'm prepared for LVO. I feel like somewhere in the games that someone's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "I gotcha," on a rule that I don't remember or a rule that I didn't see coming, like what Garrett was saying about the AI move off of.
I didn't understand that. What
So he's saying that I can.
compulsory has always been free.
No, he's saying that compulsory could be used to AI move. So if they didn't have an order, the AI move could be the compulsory one, and you could still aim and attack. Where normally, if you didn't have an order, you had to compulsory and then move.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But you could AI move, do your thing, and then compulsory at the end.
yeah. So this way you can aim and attack um, after a compulsory move in the beginning if you chose to use it in the beginning. Which is probably going to get fixed, or maybe it's already fixed. But just reading all these rules is kind of like, we'll see. We'll see how it works. So, Daniel, anything you like in the new rules?
I really like how the new line of sight stuff works. I think it's very intuitive to be if I can see you, you can see me. I think it was dumb that it wasn't that way originally. I think it's gonna simplify a lot of stuff. It makes it, yeah, it makes it better. I like
Yeah,
that change.
I like my bus now that blocks line of sight. I'm just gonna park this in front of mall. You can't see him now. So
Yeah, but if your bus blows up, your mall token gets spit out with face down and a wound.
oh no, the
I love
moment,
that change too.
yeah,
That needed to happen.
that's a good change. Yeah, I like that change.
Also, the
I love
payload
it.
change is great. There was a lot of really good changes.
Payload was fun.
Yep.
Payload was not. There's a lot of doom and gloom on competitive Discord about how you don't take payload because you can get slammed by a wall. You can get unfortunate. To be honest, I love payload more now because you actually have to move your payload with a purpose. It's not this obstacle's over here. Okay, let me just go in a straight line and fly over everything.
Yep.
I know people are saying leave payload out of your deck. I might just airbrush my payload and take it. Like that was fun. Like moving your payload with a purpose. 100% love the change.
So
Yep.
I agree with you with funness, because I kind of think of it like supply drop, where like it's just fun. But I disagree with you in competitive. Like you shouldn't be taking if you're trying to win LVO because of the reasons that you said. Um, you might get screwed over on a table that you're moving zigzagging more than your opponent, and you just like instant lose or instant fight a uphill battle.
But
You
I
gotta
mean,
be
if it's in
better.
your deck, you probably have hemmed in your deck as well. So there's also that where you can harass people a little bit on the pick ban phase. So
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know. I don't
it's
feel like it's as bad as people are saying
hemmed
Nope.
in goes
because it's been
first.
skewed blue pretty hard for a while.
It's
Yeah,
Now it
but
just
supposed to be
kind
red
of
now, I think.
evens.
you want to ban hemmed in immediately if payload's the one, because then it makes it a lot more fair. But yeah,
I did that with
yeah,
Roman.
yeah. So um all right, guys. So what about your list? Tell me about your guys' list from where it was to these new rule changes to now where it's at. We'll start with Daniel. What you got?
All right. So originally I had tactical series with Underworld Connections. I had Bosk and CAD with some upgrades, 4 B1s with the E5S, a battle droid with the HQ uplink to keep them running, and then 2 IG-100 Magna Guards with the rocket launchers. That's the list that I've been running, and I was prepping for LVO. And then they came out and made the rocket launchers really expensive, and they took scale and made it terrible, and they gave everyone cover. And so I was really worried about Bosk's performance. I wasn't super thrilled with how expensive it was going to be to run the Magna Guards. Tenacity went up. Offensive push, I had 3 copies of, and that went up. So I decided I wanted to try to switch and see if I could run something other than Bosk. So I ran a couple of games where I pulled out Bosk and one of the B1s and replaced them with Maul. And so I had Maul in CAD and was running 9 acts, but still running the Magnas. I played a couple of games of that, and I think it might be stronger. The problem for me with that list was that it often came down to dice because it wanted to just get in your face, charge you with Magnus, charge you with CAD, charge you with Maul. And, most of the time it works out for you, but you are so heavily relying on dice more than the maneuvering. You're very much relying on the dice. So in like a 9-game tournament like LVO, there's no way that I won't have one game where my dice screw me. So I ended up deciding that I didn't want to run that list, and I pulled back, and I'm running a very similar list to original. I've got Bosk and Cat again. What I had to do to make all the points fit is I pulled out 3 copies of offensive push from my list. My Magna Guards don't have it anymore. Bosk doesn't have it anymore.
Ouch.
Yeah, and my bid dropped. The only other change I made is I actually added in environmental gear onto CAD, because I found that in a lot of games, CAD wants to move through heavy cover and he wants to jump. And so, or he wants to move through difficult terrain and wants to jump. So we'll see if that changed. Part of that was because if you spend more points, you win tie breaks. And so I was like, I'm not going for a bid anymore. So let's push it up to 799 and spend a couple more points on CAD.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I dropped my bid from like 10 points down to 1, and I have CAD with a little bit of upgrades, and everybody else is a little bit worse. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at LVO.
Yeah, we just gotta find Cat Bane. If you can find him, you're a good spot. We'll see.
Yep.
What do you got, Jose?
All right, so we're focusing on LVO for the last few months, and my whole thing was, as a clone player, I hate where the meta was for the clones. I hate Anakin Padme. I hate Yoda Saber. I hate Yoda Padme Saber. I just hate it. I felt like clones were right there because that's all they had that was good. So my whole thing with LVO was, I want to go to LVO and do what my good old buddy JR did. I want to go play what I want to play. I'm a big Anakin fan. I loved when he dropped, even though, Maul was way underpriced and overpowered compared to Anakin. But, it is what it is. Uh, my list was 10 acts at 798, and this was before the nerf. So the before the point changes, the point changes alone changed this list. So I was Anakin Skywalker versus speed, force push, offensive stance, and into the fray. It was a Pike Syndicate capo with vigilance, 3 Phase 1 clone troopers with DC 15, 1 Phase 1 clone trooper naked with a portable scanner just to hand Anakin a dodge every round. 2 Pike Syndicate foot soldiers with the Disruptor Soldier and Recon Intel, so I can move up onto boxes, objectives, get in position. And you guys are gonna laugh at this one. 1 Arc Strike Team with a DC Art Trooper with a jetpack, so I could fly everywhere. And then Echo with the jetpack. And the whole reason behind that was, with the old cover rules, I wanted to be able to hide from alpha strikes and then jump up and then start blasting, jump down, just maneuverability. But then the points change happened and all these rules happened. So my list shot up by like 10 points. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I need to redo this. And with the new courage, the new panic suppression rules, I was like, okay, I'm a big fan of phase 2s. I'm a maniac that has a list with 6 phase 2s. So I was like, you know what? I want to bring my boys. It seems like a good time to bring my boys back. So the list change for LVO that I'm taking now is force push, saber throw, up close and personal, and offensive stance, a naked Pike Syndicate capo, 2 phase 2 troopers with the Z6 and portable scanners. So now Anakin has access to 2 dodges a turn as we're making our approach. 1 phase 2 with the mortar and Overwatch, so I can get that suppression if I need it. I can Overwatch. Standby's gone, but I never really planned on using the standby on the mortar trooper. It was just for aerial denial. 2 Pike Syndicate foot soldiers with the disruptor, and I dropped Echo, not a fan favorite, but it was able to get me 3 arc strikes with the DC 15 X. And my command hand is now all 3 Anakin cards ploy because screw my flaw. I did have aggression in there, but I realized the fault in having aggression is if my Pike Capo gets nuked off the field, it's a dead command card. And I want to keep those orders to give the aims to the Pikes, which doesn't benefit Anakin at all. So I swapped it out for push and assault. And cards are still pending, but I was telling Roman I'm thinking about everybody at LVO is gonna run what's gonna let them win. You know,
Yeah.
the I feel like if you just had two hard games of meta game state stuff, I want to be the wild card. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go payload, supply drop. I'm gonna go
Oh,
and disarray. I'm gonna throw all the weird stuff in there. So you built your list for all this. I'm at 800 points. So there's not a chance, very small chance I'm gonna get blue. But if I do get the opportunity to be blue, you better be prepared to play something you haven't played all day, all weekend long.
yeah, that's gonna be fun. Those definitely gonna have some fun games for sure. I like that you kept the mortar in because now you can attack and then move, which is a nice change in the rules. I always like that with
Been playing wrong my whole life.
yeah. But yeah, so for my list, before the new rules change and the points change, I was running Maul with force choke, force push, tenacity and vigilance. 6 pikes with the disruptor soldier and the cache aim guy. Sorry, not 6, 4, and then 2 with the capo and the disruptor soldier. Then I had 3 pikes, 2 vigilances, and 1 improvised order. My list after the change, I think, was over like by 40 points. And I think I had like a 2-point advantage. um, so my new list that I've been having a lot more fun than my old list because my old list felt very daunting. It was strong, but it was so easy. Like it's gun line with Maul doing shenanigans. Um, Now my new list I think is a lot more fun, but a lot more chaotic as well. So I'm at 800 points. I don't think you fight for bits, especially with Blizzard Force out there. And more I win ties. But I'm running Vigilance on a capo with improvised order, Maul with force choke, force push, vigilance, and into the fray. Thanks, AMG. And then the dark saber, thanks to Daniel, convinced me how good it is. And then 2 pikes with the disruptor soldier, the AA5 with backward medic, and then the Black Suns with Magna Enforcer, Vigo, targeting scopes, and fragment grenades. And 3 pike foot soldiers with electro whip. So I used to have 2.
Oh,
Yeah, I used
like
to
the
have
whip.
2 squads of pikes just naked, and then 3 pikes with the disruptor soldier. And as I was playing it, I realized those 2 naked ones are just objective play and get lucky crits, right? So I didn't want. I had like a 6-point bid. I was like, I don't want to be at a 6-point bid. I'm not going to win against Blizzard Force with the bid. And I honestly, I want to win ties if that ever comes up. So I was like, how do I max out at 800? And I realized if I drop a disruptor soldier, I could pick up 3 whips. So now I'm shooting 5 blacks. And if things get close, like Cap 8, I'm going to whip his ass.
Yeah, no, actually, that was the first thought I had when you sent me that list. I was like, ooh, if Cad gets too close, he'll never get to leave. So I like
So
that change a lot.
question, what Daniel, what did you do to get him to take the dark saber? Because I love the dark saber. I think it's cool. I've been burned by 5 black way too many times. I've been burned by 6 by
it's 6 blacks.
7 black on Luke. 6 blacks, but I've been burned by black dice in my life. It's terrible. Nothing feels worse than Son of Skywalker where you get 5 hits and then 0 hits. It's terrible. I love Maul's saber because I love the ceiling of it. What conversations did you guys have to get you off of? Was it just the cunning or what? What was it? Do
Well, the
you
first
need
thing was
cunning?
I pointed out he was cheating by giving himself orders off of standing orders.
Yeah, that was the first
So
one. That was the first
that
one.
helped.
Oh my god!
I was like, standing orders. I'm gonna give it to Maul. You can't. Oh, okay. Standing orders.
Why can't Maul get standing orders?
Because he was an operative. He has to be a
Oh,
commander to issue that order.
got
So
it.
then what I would do is I would have Maul in range 3 of the pikes. All right, pikes, standing orders. The pikes will give it to Maul. I'm like, can't do that either. I'm like, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that helped a lot. And then a lot of like the suppression changes, I think. Well, I mean, you can say why you're taking the dark saber. Sure.
Well, yeah. So the suppression thing didn't really dawn on me until that game we played where you were trying to panic that guy, and I was just like, dang. And I was like, oh wait, because I would always dive Maul. That was my thing. That's why I never wanted him to be a commander, because I was just like, I'm just gonna dive him and then have my commanders just in the back. So gunline Maul doing shenanigans. However, I realized, in that game, the suppression is good. But what really sold me is when we were talking about it is one, the order thing. Is like I needed to give him an order because I always want Mar to have an order. Two was in practice, hunting comes up so more often than I thought it would because I want to make sure I go first last. And it's so good with the Black Suns. Because if I can get a shot off on turn one, or even if I don't turn one, I can then drop the pikes off at first and then boom, just blast and hopefully just nuke a activation.
Yeah, back-to-back Black Sun shots. Oof.
Yeah. And it's good for like when people want to dive on Maul or do something with Maul. It's good that I get cunning to go and get him out of that situation. Surge the crit is huge. It's really good. I don't know why my red saves my red attack dice I've been blanking on some of them. But yeah, Surge the crit was really nice. And then what else did it give him? Commander rank, cunning, Surge the crit. I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
just the suppression bubble is nice too. Yeah.
Yeah. The suppression. I realized that suppression bubble is just like this just keeps getting better. There's no reason not to take the Dark Saber.
Yeah, it's also just not that expensive.
Yeah. I think it's the cheapest one out of all of them, isn't it?
Sabine's?
Sabine's is 15.
I think those two are both 15.
Yeah. Yes. So it's the cheapest one, which is awesome. And I swear by it now. It's so good. I don't kill things as effectively as I once did, but honestly, Maul's not really trying to kill things. He's just trying to play the objective.
You just wish I gave you Search the Blot.
Yes. Come on, AMG, errata it. Do it for me, man. So my list is now 800 and it's pretty solid. I like the whips. And yeah, hopefully I take another win. But we'll see.
I love that you brought the whips, dude. The whips are underused.
Yeah, they really are. I actually had a game yesterday against somebody who was running a Mando list in Rebels. He had Din, Sabine, and then what's Clan Ren, and then just a squad of Mandos with the duelist. And we were playing supply drop, and I put two supplies or two of my boxes like behind this big old line of sight blocking, and he put all his army behind a big old tree, so I couldn't really shoot at him. And he put Sabine and Clan Ren like out in the open. I was like, okay, I wonder what's going on with that. I forget Clan Ren and all the Mandos are speed 3, so he just double moves really close to that line of sight blocking. I'm like, he's trying to go for my 2 boxes. So I had to like panic and like swing on my pikes to shoot at Sabine. And the dice gods were on my side because Sabine blinked out and died turn 1. It was so brutal. And then the rest of the game that the Clan Ren made all its saves, but at that point it was too late because I was having my pikes in trying to whip it so it didn't get the other 2 boxes. Yeah, and then Maul did Maul things, and then Mando tried to do as best he can against Maul. So it was that match was pretty fun. But yeah, what about you guys?
Rebel Mandos need some love compared to
they're so good still. They're still good.
Clan Ren is so good.
Yeah,
the Rebel Mandos.
I'm not talking about Clan Ren. I love Clan Ren. When Mandos dropped, the first thing I did was Clan Ren, Sabine, and 2 full Mandos with the sword guy. Clan Ren, awesome. It's like a mini Sabine running around. The other Mandos, no.
What are you guys talking about? Literally, this guy had Din, Mando, the Mando Resistance, Clan Ren, and then he had a set of Wookiees with the shield. So he was throwing these things at me, and I was like, "Who do I shoot at? I don't know who to shoot at."
Rebel Mandos need charge. Get rid of whatever they have. I forgot what keyword it is.
You take prepare supplies. Boom! Now you got nipple proc. It's so good
for 1 round.
Yeah, but I mean, you have retinue. I think they're sleepers. I think people are sleeping on them.
Clan Ren's not the issue. It's the regular Mandos.
Yeah, Clan Ren is fine, but the other Mandos, I don't know. They need something so that their first shot doesn't reduce their dice pool because it's devastating. Like, I don't know, make their heavy 2 health. That would be enough for me where it's like, oh, that's interesting now.
Yeah.
But uh, they've
I
got
mean,
nothing. They get shot once and then all of a sudden you blanked one die and now they suck.
Yeah, look at the Mandalorians with
I think
situational awareness.
And the
The
shields.
Mandalorians work way better with their entire kit and Gar versus Mandos with Sabine. Like it's night and day difference.
I
The
just
Mandalorians have so much more. No, no, no. Screw you. You annihilated me with my own Mandos, and I haven't forgot.
yeah,
Okay.
that was your fault
Okay.
though.
The only damage I was getting through was with Anakin using freaking the gem mastery. Other than that, the stupid Mandos would not die.
But that's the thing. Like, I think the mom Mandalorians are the worst ones compared to the other ones. In my
No.
opinion.
Compared to Mandalorian Resistance.
Yeah. I think because the Mandalorian Resistance, they surge to hit, they surge to defend, they have nimble, and then the Mandalorians, they don't surge to hit, they only have surge to defend. If you take the 2 shields, sure, but that's the same thing that like the nimble, it works for only 1 turn, then it's gone forever.
Well, but they also get a free dodge if they got an order.
And
no,
they got range
and
range three
they have
rifles.
independent aim, but it's still they still die just as fast. Like
I don't
it's
know.
not
Blocking the first 3 dice that come in at you after cover is pretty good.
It's yeah, you
two.
you experienced what I experienced, JR.
Well, you can do 1 dodge and then 2 shields.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So theoretically, a 5 dice pool comes at you. You could take nothing without even rolling, and then you go with them and hit somebody and get one of those dodges back because of up close and personal.
That's one. That's one activation after
If I
like.
could ignore 1 5-hit activation, I would be very happy.
But they hit less than the Mando Resistance. They don't hit as
Dude,
hard.
you in
Maybe.
our one game, there was never a point you weren't, and it's probably me for being a dummy and letting you get in the position. But for 5 rounds, your Mandos were dodged up 24/7. By the end of the game, the only things that were Mandalorian that had wounds was Gar was on 1 wound, and you had one Mando like on that train that just refused to die that tied up my KP.
That's
Other than that, you were blocking
to
all the time. You had
to be
all the
fair.
dodges.
That Mando was just pissed off and didn't get heavy cover. That's all. That's all it was.
I could see the whole model. That's the one. Okay, old cover will suck. No, just because of that.
Yeah, man, it's funny because now there's no question if something has cover. It's just like, yeah, it's got covered. Like you don't even have to second guess it.
Though actually, I really want to get a laser line just so that because you can do from any point to any point. So a lot of times you're stuck eyeballing. You're like, does it cross? I don't really know.
Yeah.
So I think actually with the new cover rules, I'm more likely to use a line laser for those close calls.
Yeah, I'll bring in one to LVO. My buddy John allowed me to use his, so I was just like, cool, I'm gonna bring that too. All right, so guys,
because they're cool.
Both you guys, it's your first time going to LVO. Tell me, you guys, what you guys are expecting, what you're excited about, what you're nervous about, what's going on in your heads.
You go for it, Daniel.
Well, I went to SoCal Open 2 months ago. So I'm kind of expecting just a bigger version of that. I think it's going to be really fun. Especially I'm really looking forward to going with a group of people because when I went to SoCal, it was just me, which was fun. Everybody there is super nice and it was cool, but it'll be fun to like at the end have like a group that we can like get back together and be like, oh, how'd your round go? Like, so I'm really looking forward to like the social aspect of hanging out and being able to play some Legion. I'm concerned based on who signed up. I think it's going to be a really hard tournament.
Terrified.
Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. I'm expecting to come in, lose some games of Legion, but have a fun time.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, I'm this is my first. I've done local competitive events, but our competitive scene is small, so we're normally doing like skirmish. I get really, really, really competitive. Me and JR have had some insane events where it's me and him in the top two, and one mistake is what blew open the entire game. Like it's weird that skirmish got that competitive, but the ways that like one of our games, I ran Wonder Twins in a skirmish format against his Grievous, and he took Grievous in an AAT, and I'm like, cool, this AAT is about to get smacked by Son of Skywalker. This clown puts the AAT on a little piece of terrain, and Luke doesn't have saber throw. So I'm like, well, this is unfortunate. So then it turned into everybody run under the ATSC while the ATSC, like, it was insane. Then the one that makes me had laughed the most is our last skirmish tournament. Me and JR are both undefeated, and he has no idea why he's in second place. So after 3 rounds, he's like, "There's no way I tabled everybody," and I'm like, "I'm just better than you." And I was like thinking, like, I've never beaten JR, so for me it's like, cool, I beat him, I didn't even face him. And then Roman and everybody's like, round 4. I'm like, what? And he had Maul Bus on the skirmish map, which is garbage. And I'm like, cool, if I can, my only shot to survive is to blow that bus up or damage it. I put everything I had into my one alpha shot, and the bus came through, Maul deleted everything, and JR won. It was terrible.
I don't even feel like. Go ahead.
No,
I don't even feel like I won that tournament because Daniel was still undefeated too. So it's like we need to play it out to see who the final winner.
I wasn't down for a 5th round of skirmish.
Yeah. It was long. It was long. We had to wrap it up for sure.
So going into LVO being my first ever, I love Legion. I listen to Notorious Scoundrels. I listen to Legion 99. I listen to Stabcast. I always hear all these big events. I am beyond excited to go to this event. And like Daniel said, I'm like, cool, I'm signing up. Let's see what happens. And then Kyle Dornbos, freaking Tim Hannon, freaking like just names that I've like fanboyed over watching these events. And I'm just like, oh, I might have to play these individuals. Oh no. The day one, game one, Jose and Kyle Dornbos, table 16. I'm like, oh, so this is how my it's gonna go. It's cool. I'm excited. At first I was like, I wanna leave LVO with the winning record, whatever that winning record may be. I don't care if I make day 3. I just want to leave with the winning record. Then I realized life happens and you can't practice as much as you want. So now I'm in Roman's boat. I just want to be in the top 50% and I'll be happy. I'm excited for the event. I'm excited. My goals there are just to be in the top 50%, play one of the lads in Vegas. That'd be awesome. Be ironic if I get my first one against JR in Vegas.
Right? That'd be so cool, bro. I'd be proud of you. I'd be so fucking proud.
And then I want to play one of the podcasters that Mike Dashberry. I would love to play him. I'd love to pick his brain. And then just enjoy the ride. But to be honest, as exciting as that is, I'm excited for the road trip up there with the boys. That talking Legion for hours while we get there, amazing. But I'm expecting to have fun. I don't know if my back's going to take it. I don't know if my legs are going to take it, but I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I told Daniel when we go to register for the room, try to get the lowest room possible because it's a shorter walk for us to get to the convention center. Yeah, I'm actually excited this year. I'm excited and nervous for a couple of reasons. I'm excited to go with you guys because, man, when I went to LVO for the first time, like it was my first ever big event. I've never been to it like this before, and I'm sitting there like I feel like a little awkward. I'll be playing, and then when I finish my game, I'll try to go talk to people, but it's like you don't know them, right? So it's that awkwardness of like introductions and like blah blah blah. But now that I'm going with you boys, like it's gonna be fun because I could go see your table. I could be like, how'd you do? All that stuff. So I'm super stoked, super excited to go this year. I'm also a little nervous because, as you said, Daniel and Jose, there's a lot more people at this one, a lot more good players at this one too. And there's a lot more, I don't want to say tryhards, but definitely wanting to win, which rightfully so. That's what you want to do at LVO. So what's got me the most nervous is Blizzard Force. I think that one's a big contender to win this year.
I think Blizzard Force is taking it, to be honest. There's too many of the high-end players. Like, for instance, Kyle from Notorious Scoundrels, he's taking Blizzard Force. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna take it until they change it. It's just the best thing. Right, and we know Kyle's like an amazing player. That's already one vote in the hat of taking LVO, Blizzard Force, and Kyle. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, I that's my thing is like is Blizzard Force. It's just like because I'm not the guy that wants to try super hard. Like I want to try to win, but I want to take what I want to take. I don't want to take what's dictated by meta. And it just so happens that Maul's still really good, so I'm cool with that. And the Pikes are still really good. Um,
The Pikes are
but
still good.
Yeah,
yeah,
next year you have to take Grievous.
that's what I told Jose that I go next year. I want to take
Grievous and
Grievous.
Ventress.
Yeah, but yeah, Grievous Adventures. But my
I'll do
dream
Cody
is,
Rex.
ooh, I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
All right, it's a deal. You heard it,
Yeah,
Daniel.
yeah. My biggest dream though is I want to go against either Kyle or Luke Cook because I know they're really good players and I want to see how I compare or just iron sharpens iron. It's gotten so bad that I've been dreaming about LVO. And I had a dream. I had a dream. I played Kyle in the tournament twice. I won both times. The last one didn't count
Oh,
because he got called away, so he had to like forfeit it. But I'm just like, oh man, dude, that'd be fun to play against Kyle or Luke Cook.
if you get in the
But
top 8, you'll definitely see Kyle, I think.
yeah, my biggest scare though is being bamboozled by a rule because I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm up to par on the rules. I haven't really dived deep in them. I'm kind of just at the point where I just want to have fun. I don't want to analyze every freaking thing. But yeah, I feel like that's my biggest fear. Just I got you. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. All right. So, yeah, guys, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to go with you boys and the road trips and everything. And you guys here in my CPAP machine, will be the best.
So normally you have like a rules section. I don't know if you have that now, but I kind of want to pick yours and Daniel's brain about the. So I'm competitive etiquette is weird for me because I'm used to be like, oh, here's 10 crits, let me pull them all out of the bucket. But I hear
Yeah.
different things. So when you were at LVO and Daniel, when you were at SoCal, how does the etiquette with rolling dice in the tray happen? Because like for instance, if I roll, one surge, 2 hits, and my surge chart says the surge becomes a hit, I put my hand in there and I physically move the surge to the hit and I pull the empty dice out. Like, is there like a hard rule or friendly rule? You don't put your hand there, you scoot to the side. Like, what's the deal with dice right now? That's my
So
question.
I actually got experience against this. I actually got called out for this. So when I was playing against an opponent, that's what I was doing. What you were saying, I was converting my surges into hits and everything. The guy that I was playing against, I forgot his name, but I think he thought I was cheating him because when I was at one of the stream tables, I don't know if you can hear it on the stream, but he had told somebody like, "Hey, I think he's cheating because he's moving his dice." So the judge told me, "Don't do that. Just call it out." I was like, "Okay." And so from then on, I just left the dice like that. Like that turns into a crit and just didn't touch it. I was just like that. Surge, I have surge crit. So that's
So what do
preferably
you
that's
what do you
preferably
do
what you
if
want to do.
so what do you do if you roll and you have a re-roll? Do you just not touch the dice and you shoot the dice in, or do you get to push them to the side and then shoot the dice? Like what?
I think you
Because you're gonna
prefer.
have all those dice in the way,
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but I think you confirm with your opponent. You're like, come over here. You see, I got all these crits. I'm just gonna take
and
them
then you
out.
just
Yeah, just take them out. These are crits, and then that way, let him confirm it. Like, okay, I agree with you, and then you take them out and then re-roll. Because I find that if you just communicate with your opponent, and just be like, hey, like I wish I would have known that that guy thought I was cheating when I was doing that. Because if he had told me during the game, I'm like, oh my bad, I just won't touch him. You just come over here. Because the most stressful thing for me, and I'm sure a lot of opponents, was the time. And I don't
Yeah.
know if LVO is gonna like show us the time anymore, but you could see the clock ticking down. So we were just trying to finish the game. And so his dice pool was on his side of his table, mine was on my side. So we'd roll, and there's not a whole lot of room on the table, so it's always weird. So it's kind of a nuisance for your opponent to just come all around just to see your dice. We want to play in an honest world, but at the same time, time is ticking, and it is what it is. So I don't know if you had the experience.
Daniel.
No, very much the same. Leave the dice as much as you possibly can. Because it's, if it's still there, sometimes you'll forget, or sometimes like I mess up my surge chart sometimes. And so it's nice if my opponent can see it and be like, and I'm like, oh, this guy doesn't surge. So if I was converting those surges, I might not remember which ones I had converted. So it's definitely best just to leave the dice if you can. Rerolls is the messier part. But yeah, like JR said, if you just confirm with your opponent, and a lot of times if you're just saying it out loud, and they're paying attention, there's no issue. I didn't run into any situation where anyone had any problems.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone was super nice.
yeah. Because
Okay, because
that's
I
a good.
go, brother.
No, so that's what I was saying. Like a lot of the time, pretty much a lot of the opponents are really chill and just like cool, like just call it out, it's fine. But you don't sometimes get those opponents that just like come check, come confirm. You know me, I'm just like whatever you want to think is fair, let's do it. I don't care.
All right, that's okay. So then the other question, because I'm like I said, you guys have been with competitive event. I know some events they have like a chart, like here's the cover for the table. I know some FLG events did it. I know some don't. So when it comes to defining your field with your opponent, especially now since cover has like weird names now, like open terrain cover. I forgot what the rules are. Like I feel like it's weird. It's extra. But was there ever a point in your guys' competitive days at these events where you're trying to determine cover and you have like a disagreement on a certain cover with an opponent? And how was that resolved?
Yeah, I didn't run into any issues. It's also very easy for me because my army was all troopers.
Hmm.
So I feel like the rules are fairly clear for troopers. The messier part is, does this vehicle get cover from this item?
Hmm.
So I never really ran into any issue with that. Everyone was very reasonable. I assume if you run into an issue where you and your opponent can't agree, you just call a judge and the judge can call it for you guys. Because I had that happen with a couple just different line of sights. It wasn't hostile or anything. I was just like, I don't think he can see. And the other guy was like, I think he can. Well, then let's just have a judge figure it out because yeah, it's easier than just arguing because we're not going to change our minds. So
Gotcha.
that's what I would recommend is just if you really come to that point where you and your opponent disagree, just call a judge for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the same thing is like if you disagree on it, and I didn't have that problem with LVO because everybody was just like, yeah, it makes sense. But I do think that's going to be a problem in the current rules because of impassable. Um, it favors some lists, and so some. I'm not saying someone's trying to cheat you, but some people will be like, well, I think this should be impassable, and it might indirectly favor his list. So I think that should is going to come up. But normally, what you could do is you could just be like, all right, let's roll for it. And then, whatever rules, that's what we stick with. Or if you both keep agreeing, like Daniel said, call a judge. Don't be afraid to call a judge. Always call a judge because that's what they're there for. Like, in my opinion, what I plan to do, since I'm not like super top tier on the rules and everything, I'm just going to be like, can I do this, judge? Can I do this? Like, I hate to call them so much because I'm sure they're going to be busy, but hey, you're throwing the LVO tournament with the new rules and I haven't got a lot of practice and I'm calling you, man. So, yeah.
All right, final question for me, because we're just on the LVO topic. How do you guys feel about your blue player deck no longer being private information? On top of that, you get the opponents get to see the deck before they even choose if they want to be blue or red.
I really dislike it. I like the element of like you don't know what I'm trying to do. Like you have to kind of figure it
It's
out
your
with my
advantage.
list, right? Because that's part of the strategy. And I had a game where my opponent chose to be red because he looked at my list and he thought he knew what I was trying to do, and he was wrong. And so then when the things came up, he was very disappointed, and it ended up being a huge edge for me. That will never happen. That's sad. So yeah, I think it removes part of the game that was fun, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree with Daniel. I'm kind of on the fence if you should bid or not. I'm not bidding this year because of Blizzard Force, but like I'm at the point where just like I'm not going to bid. I'm just going to keep building all-rounded armies that can handle most situations. Um, because yeah, it's a feel bad moment when you want to bring a bunch of Wookiees and then your opponent sees your battle deck that you want to get up close and personal. You're just like, yeah, you'll use my deck. So yeah, it sucks. I don't like it.
I think it's strong for red now though because it's I feel like they've shifted away from blue. Like we've had a blue problem forever, and it shifts to red because as a red player, like you and me are both and Daniel are both going to shoot for red player.
Mhm.
It's a big advantage for us knowing their deck because we get final veto, like final pick. So we can dictate a lot of what's gonna happen based on already knowing what their deck is. So I feel like it's a red hedge.
a little bit, but it's also a bid hedge because if they know that you have the same objectives as them, they can literally just look, oh, you do have the same objectives as me.
Yeah.
I'll be red. It was like,
But
okay,
I'm taking chaos, so don't
yeah,
let me get my deck.
yeah. But that was what happened in at SoCal is my opponent thought that we would have the same objectives, but I was running double bounty but long range, and he was running something slightly different. And so then when my objectives came up, he was surprised. And so he was trying to do the whole, oh, I can hedge and be red, and he couldn't. And so now that would never happen, and I think that's just a little bit sad.
Yeah, because knowing your deck, Jose, I would purposely be blue player so I didn't have to play with your chaos deck. Right? That's what I would do. I'd be like, nope, I'll be blue.
It's perfect. You got the chaos of the new rules, and then you just played 3 games of KP that came down to time, and then you got this clone player like, I know what he's gonna do. Bam, disarray. Bam, supply drops. You know, bam, payload. What the hell's going on?
It gets reported. First ever Legion game gets played for 10 hours.
Doesn't times out after round 1.
Yeah, I just keep going. Okay, where do you guys? I know Jose touched on them a little bit. Sorry, Jose, you got any more rules? Ooh,
I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I think everything was good. Oh yeah, we got to do this just to do it. I feel like it's a crime if we don't do it. The death of all standby sharing. JR, I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
Yoda
if I'm gonna lose my center to block, you're gonna lose standby sharing. That's how it works.
Yoda, Padme, Anakin. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, standby sharing for the clones. It's a sad day.
Oh, I think it was a beautiful change. It was a new nuance, and I didn't like it one bit. What do you think, Daniel?
It's definitely nice for newer players because I feel like standby sharing, if you didn't understand the game well, it feels bad when you got caught by it. But it's kind of fun to have that more complex faction that can do like these really exciting things if they spend the time to set it up. So I'm kind of sad because it cuts off like almost the top level of play where you're trying to get those double activations and stuff. But I get it. I get why they made the decision.
Yeah, hot take. I think they should bring clone standby sharing back.
Really?
There's no way they're
You
doing
just saying that?
after ripping
I'm
out
just
all
saying that.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just saying
gut
that.
There's
exemplar
no way
and
you're
the gut Yoda's
serious.
card.
And I was a fan of the standby sharing. I wasn't a fan of the abuse of standby sharing. Like I wasn't a fan of Rexstar Arc's standby sharing. Um, I did like the exemplar thing, but the thing was when they took away clone standby sharing, all they did was force players to wiggle around it. So you had Padme, Anakin, Yoda. I hated the way that there were lists generated specifically just for that, and I felt like that was a hedge that the clones had. I didn't. What I love now is if you're a clone player, like you have more flexibility now that meta is out the window,
Right.
and you actually have to be great. You can't just be like, I'm gonna set up these 4 standbys, and when you walk in, I'm just gonna delete you. Like now, you actually have to use your actions. I'm all about purposeful actions, purposeful movement. JR knows I'm a fan of human error. I hate TTO because there's that circles. It's dumb. I love human error. I love that you got here. Hey, and especially with the new rules, you declare an attack and they're not in range. Hey, guess what? Your attack action is wasted. I love it. I just feel like with the standby sharing gone, clone players need to now move with the purpose and they need to be more tactical than ever. And it brings a whole it's harder. Clones are hard to play and they should be hard to play, but I love the change. I don't want standby sharing back. I just think it was kind of it's a downer. Yoda got hit with the upgrades nerf. He got hit with his command card nerf. Padme lost the will to live, so she's gonna be out of all the lists now.
Yeah.
So it's a new day for clones. I'm here for it, and I want to see where it goes.
To be honest, though, I was okay with Yoda and Padme sharing because Yoda only did it on his 3-pip, and like Padme is like she's not really useful. I mean, she is useful, but like it just made sense that Padme could do that. I just didn't like that it could share a standby with the vehicles. Like I think if you just got rid of the vehicle park, I think it'd just be just fine. But I mean,
The Saber needs love though, man. The Saber
oh
doesn't fit
yeah,
with
it
tabletop.
needs
That's the
love,
problem. Yeah.
just not that kind of
Tim,
love.
so Tim from Stabcast is a maniac. I don't know if you watched the last episode. He's running 3 RTs, 2 Saber tanks, sprinkle clones in. I think one of them's like a phase 2 8-axe. I don't know if he's taking it to LVO, but he needs to. He will be the man. I would love to see double Saber at LVO.
I
But
hope
he'll
you
Even
make
if
guys,
I'm
that
the
list a
victim.
lot better.
I hope you guys go against each other in the chaos of chaos. Just attack.
I want to meet Tim so bad. Tim's dope.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not really, man. It's gonna be a fun time.
With
Go ahead,
with
Jamie.
all these changes that they've made to clones, like basically just straight removing standby sharing, I'd actually like to see them bring back the unlimited token sharing. Because I feel like at this point, you know, let them use their aims, let them use their dodges. You've stripped all their standbys. Because that was the biggest cheese that was an issue.
Okay, hold on. I understand that.
Unlimited surges only.
I understand that. Yeah, unlimited surges probably would be fine. But I mean, the monster that it was,
For sure.
how much do you hate the dodge spam on pikes? Imagine that on clones with red saves.
Yeah,
it would
but
be rock,
all
paper,
of their
scissors.
dodges require them to take an action. That's not the same as just getting them for free and then keeping them for free.
Not true, because I mean, like Padme, quick thinking. She could take another dodge. You can do portable scanners. Like you can literally have one clone just be a token battery.
But if clones had, if clones are able to share the aims, because let's also bring in the fact that a lot of what made the aim vomit atrocious is gone. Like you don't get your tactical off of scout and deployment, all that good stuff. You don't get all that stuff. But when you're comparing it to dodge spam versus aim spam and dodge spam, that's like rock paper scissors. Like you have all those dodges, cool. I'm gonna make you spend them all with the aims. Like even a full Z6 unit with 2 aims, I don't think makes any severe damage to a full pike unit with 3 dodges and heavy cover. So I think and even then the new cover rules balance it out. Before you'd eat, a Z6 shot with 5 aims and you're out in the open. Now it's like you at least have cover, you have whatever utility you have. I'm not saying to bring it back. I do not want, as a clone player, I do not want unlimited sharing back. I want unlimited surges because you still have to roll those surges. But I think in the current rule era that we're in, I think aims and dodges could come back and not be an issue if they did do
Right.
it. I don't want them to, but it wouldn't be an issue.
Any of you guys, other than me, that had problem with changing up keywords? Any of you guys had any problems with any of the keywords that got changed?
I think I like the
Nah.
changes that they made pretty much
The
across
lo-
the board with the keywords.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
nuke
think-
deflect. I love it.
I didn't like scale. I think scale got a huge nerf.
Oh yeah, sorry, I
Yeah.
have that like mentally put into the.
He's done.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, I have that put in with the climbing rules. Oh, I
yeah.
hate that. That was a terrible change. But like you had to change it to something, and yeah,
Yeah.
I get why it's there, but I think it's just terrible. Like Grievous is basically unplayable with that.
Mhm.
Boss got hurt with that. Wookiees, they're not going to see any table time with that. What they can't get over things to get to people anymore. Like that's what they used to do.
Can you
So-
guys elaborate on? I know I've never used scale really, and the forums and the Discord has been flooded, so it's hard to find information. So old scale was move, scale up, and then do your action, or scale up, move, do your action. However, what's the difference? What's the difference now that I'm missing or that I haven't seen? What makes it bad?
Scale can only all that scale does anymore is it gives you unhindered, so you can go over difficult terrain, and it lets you climb to height 2 instead of height 1. So basically, you're no better at getting over obstacles than a regular trooper unit.
Your speed down too?
Your speed is down to 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the problem, is that if you want to, because Wookiees used to be able to, like, they start at the base of a building, so then they climb up to the top, go across, then climb down, go. And they're able to make basically 2 full speed 2 moves towards units while going through obstacles. You can't do that at all anymore. You'll just be
Gotcha.
doing 2 speed 1s,
Yeah.
which you're not going to get. You're not going to get anywhere.
Let
I kind of
alone
like that though. I kind of like that though, because there are times when JR would like scale like a fence, and the little inch that he climbed mattered, because if it wasn't for that inch, he wouldn't be in base contact with me. I kind of like that, like because the scale is like free distance pretty much.
Yeah, because you got an extra little bit of movement out of it because of your base. So you got to use that base to get further with scale. But now you don't even get that, and you get to reduce speed of 1. Ooh,
Yeah, the bigger change is the reduced speed. Like I'd be
Yeah.
fine. They just needed to find some way where it didn't fully reduce your speed, because that's brutal.
mhm.
Because most of the units that have that are melee units, which already are sketchy and only are good because they can move their whole distance to get in. And so now they can't. I just don't see a way that you play Wookiees and don't get just destroyed.
Yeah. Which I know you looked it up, Daniel. Did you? I know I think you told me and I forgot already. Can you force push off a building?
So force push didn't change. It's still a speed 1 move, which is different than a move action. So a move action can either be a climb or a standard move action. This one has to be a standard move, which is not a climb.
So then, can you engage off a climb?
I think so,
Yeah,
because
you
it's still a
should be
move
able
action.
to, and it's base contact.
See,
Yeah.
this is all the things.
It's just that like move
for
action is
unprepared.
split into 2 parts. One part is your regular move, one part is your climb. But either of those can start a melee.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Because like I'm just like, I don't know everything that's going on. I'm just gonna wing it and ask for a judge.
Yeah.
So
There's gonna be so many, and so many like surprise moments at LVO. Like it's gonna be wild.
well, honestly,
Yeah.
like my games at LVO, like the first 2 days were kind of just chill days because a lot of people were just having fun. Except the ones that are trying to get to day 3. So I'm hoping me and my opponents are just gonna be like, yeah, let's kind of go with the old rules a little bit. And if we don't understand the new ones, because I know a lot of people are just like, what does this do in this scenario? How does this do in this scenario? And if I don't know if they said already, but are they showing the clocks or no?
I don't
It's
know.
in the packet. It's in the. It's in
Yeah.
the. I know for a fact. Like in the tournament organizer rules, there's like this wonky mechanic where you roll 5 red dice and each dice is a minute or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I know LJ said he's not using that, but as far as the time goes, I don't know. We'd have to look at the packet. I feel so bad because going to LVO, we should know all these things, but I haven't had time. Even open up a simple email, like I haven't had time.
Hey, that's what the road trip's for. I'll just read it there.
Reading the packet.
So I was talking to Roman, and Roman's thinking about taking his podcast stuff so we can do like some stuff in Vegas, which is I'm all for. But I even told Roman, I said, you know, the funny thing is, I said my car has Wi-Fi. We can do a podcast in the car on the way over there.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be fun. Yeah,
we got to definitely read and study on the way over there.
Yeah, I gotta read the packet and everything, and I'll probably upload this after we have to submit our list because we set our list already. Because I've actually had people on TTS ask me like, "Are you going to LVO?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going too. I don't want to play you." I'm just like, "Why?" It's like because then you'll know how I play. I'm just like, "But we need practice. I need practice."
So, yep. No, I don't think people will be teching against us at LVO. I think there's plenty of other names.
That's
upload it, JR. Upload it. Your skill will overcome everything.
I
You're
honestly
Mr. LVO, undefeated champion of the world.
Hopefully that still stands. I don't know. We'll see with this new Blizzard Force. That's got me in a pickle. We'll start finding out though. Hopefully I take the.
You'll finally make it onto the what's it called? The
ELO.
The ELO ranking.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you'll hit your 10 games.
Yeah.
Is it 10? I thought it was 20.
It's 10.
Oh, I thought it was 10.
No, it's 10. It's 10 because I remember thinking when I heard Bushman say it that I was one shy, and that's why I wasn't on there. So, are you on there, Denver?
No, I've only played like 5 games.
5 games. Okay.
Yeah, so I have to make it to day 2 to make it on the ELO board.
Yeah, it'll be super fun. So, all right, boys. Well, thanks for doing this episode. We're gonna have fun. And next time you guys see us, we'll be back from LVO and we'll tell you guys our experience. And hopefully, one of us took the win. So, wish us luck. So, see you guys.
Good luck, boys.